Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the panel session in the International Conference on Media and Communication, or MENTION 2021. So it's great to see everybody enthusiasm today. My name is Nurizatul Aisyah binti Esrazali, and of course, it's my pleasure to warmly welcome all of you and be the host on this beautiful evening right here on this conference, MENTION 2021. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this is session A10 with the theme Political Communication. Let me welcome our chairperson, Dr. Syahrul Nazmi Sanusi, Senior Lecturer of Media and Communication, Faculty of Social Science and Humanities, University Kebangsaan Malaysia. For your information, today we have about more than 50 participants and also experts and professionals here. Each presenter is given 10 to 15 minutes of presentation time, either through live or through videos. We are so glad if all presenters are available in Q&A session. Without further ado, over to you, Dr. Syahrul Nazmi Sanusi.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and good evening to everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, quite well, eh? Okay. Okay, so how are you, everyone? Nice to meet you online. Okay, this is our first time mentioned in our history that we are conducting our conference by using the digital platform. Okay, but it's quite comfortable, convenient, so that I can stay in my house and everyone will stay in your home, so you can just focus on the what we will be presenting to you. Okay, so anyway, my name. Thanks for coming to everyone. I'm nanti for Izatul, please send to me the list of the name. Okay, because I'm not sure, maybe you have the latest participants or presenters today. Okay, since we already update, is it the new list, right? Okay, anyway, my name is Dr. Syahrul Nazmi Sanusi. I'm a senior lecturer in in School of Media and Communication Research Center. Okay, my education background is journalism. Okay, specifically in journalism and politics. Okay, media and politics. And as I have another position in UKM as a director in the Center for Corporate Communication, UKM. Okay, so anyway, thanks for coming to everyone. Today we have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 6 names. Is it, Aisyah? Correct?
2 presenters.
Only 2 presenters. Can you mention who's what is their name? Who's the presenter? The name?
Dr. Tan Jujun dengan Novi and Lita.
Navi, okay, Ibu Navi and Dr. Tan. Okay, I think without further ado, I would like to invite our first presenter, which is Ibu Novi. Okay, right? Novi Erlita. Okay, yeah. Shall we present your paper? Okay, we are giving you 10 minutes for presenting your papers, and then we open for at least 5 minutes and to extend to the certain extent that depends on the questions or the quick Q&A. Okay, so without further ado, I would like to invite the Ibu Novi. Silakan.
Yeah. Baik, Dokter. Terima kasih, Dr. Nazmi. I want to present. Sebentar, Dokter. Okay, you can see it's PPT. It's a slide, my slide. Wait.
Still cannot see your slide.
Okay.
You can wait. It's okay.
Wait. Okay. Okay.
You are now in Jakarta or in Malaysia?
I am in Jakarta, dokter, because not it's Malaysia. Okay. Sorry, dokter. I cannot. It's wait. Okay. Dokter Nazmi, boleh yang lain dulu, dokter. Maaf, saya.
Okay, okay. Okay, since our first presenters, Ibu Novi, they have some technical glitch or technical problem.
Yeah, sorry, dokter.
Yeah, maybe you can settle first. Can I invite another panels and the presenters? Miss Dr. Tan Jun, is it on the line? Dr. Tan? Yes.
Hi, Dr. Nazmi. Yes, I'm on the line.
Yes, okay. Can you present first instead of Ibu Novi, since they have some technical problem there?
Sure.
Dr. Nazmi.
Yeah.
Sorry. Dr. Joy Jun will present through videos.
Through videos. Okay. Okay. So you have any the videos or the list of the video?
Video ada dekat saya, technical, doktor.
Yes. Okay. Please. Okay. We can't hear you, Dr. Tan.
This is a pre-recorded video. I think it goes back to the technical
Yeah,
team.
technical. Yeah. Is that our technical? Is it? Can you justify or can you identify what's the problem?
Okay, saya cuba sekali lagi.
Okay.
Ada suara? Ada suara?
Tak dengar. I'm not sure. The other one, the others, is it? You be able to hear anything? Sorry, on behalf of this is our first testing. So some glitch, we can see some glitch here, but we'll try to sort out, okay, the technical part. But it's okay. Maybe we just discuss in the informal way. Okay, our presenter, Dr. Tan. Maybe we can discuss. If you wouldn't be able to play your videos, maybe you can discuss a little bit the main ideas, or maybe we can pitch some sort of what do you call it, information that you are trying to focus on today. Yes.
Hi.
Okay, Dr. Tan, yeah. You are from Utah, right?
Yeah, I'm from Utah.
Okay, first time we meet. Which department you are?
Department of Mass Communication, Faculty of Creative Industries.
Which department?
Mass Comm department.
Okay, because I'm here, Dr. Satuan, Mr. Satuan, journalism department. I know him.
Journalism department, because in Utah, right, we have two journalism program. One is, a journalism program which is conducted in English, and another one is journalism in Chinese media program, which is conducted, 50% in Mandarin and another 50% is in non-Mandarin as medium of instruction. So I'm attached to the later one, the second one.
Okay.
So
yeah,
worst come to us, sorry, Dr. Nasmi, if the technical team cannot play the video, maybe I can try to play my video over here because I have
I think that's the best way.
MP4 as well, so that the rest no need to keep
you
waiting.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, if you give me a moment, I try to find out the video.
Luckily that you attend to this meeting, so presentation, so.
Yeah, this is to play safe.
But before that, just want to inform the title of this presentation is Social Media Political Information Use, used in predicting political participation on the net generation. Okay.
The net generation.
Ini Dr. Tan Ju Jun from senior lecturer, University Tunku Abdul Rahman, Department of Mass Communications. Okay.
Can you see the screen I shared now?
Yes, yes.
I try to play it from my side and you see if there's any sound.
Good day. I'm Jujun from the Faculty of Creative Industries, University Tunku Abdul Rahman. The title of the article I'm going to present today is Social Media Political Information Used in Predicting Political Participation of the Next Generation. A little bit of the background. Social media has become conventional communications and information surveillance avenues for contemporary young adults, whom the current study identified them the next generation. Having realized the impact of online advocacy in recent elections, both domestic and overseas, social media has thus been touted as one of the effective vehicles to reach and motivate the young wired cohorts to becoming more politically concerned. Along this line of reasoning, this wired cohort could be empowered with more diverse political information, which is deemed as key precursor of political participation. Furthermore, social media may have made available an opportunity to an age cohort that has long been identified as chronically disengaged and disconnected from politics to become involved in politics on their own terms. Despite the many competing terms found in extant scholarship, the current study conceptualizes boundaries between the next generation and the pre-net generations based on the technologically inclined nature and living environment of this wired cohort, not merely by specific dates that bracket this particular new generation. The net journals in this study are wired individuals who are growing up bathing in beads with the internet and other digital technologies as part of their life. The study concedes that the net journals perceive political social media use and political participation differently from those born prior to them. As such, the way these wired cohorts engage with social media for political information and their subsequent political behavior outcomes are worth our attention.
The concern of the study is on young adults and their political participation. The idea of young adults being disengaged from politics has been a perennial problem for years. Yet, such contention may now need to be balanced against other evidence suggesting that a shift is currently taking place among the younger generation who favor distinctive, less formal, non-conventional political participation such as informal or expressive modes of participation brought by technological and social changes over the duty-based or formal participation, for instance, parties and voting. On this ground, the common perception that young people are generally disengaged from politics and the constant criticism of their model of citizenship, which is deemed problematic to democracy, may need to be reconsidered because these interpretations were derived based on an obsolete understanding of youth participation. The next journals now may involve in politics on their very own terms. On this ground, the objective of the current study is to examine how political informational use of social media informs individuals about politics and how it predicts political participation of the next generation from cognitive, affective, and behavioral states of engagement. Equally important, the study is also going to revisit important debates of shifting modes of political participation among the wider young adults to shed new light on the extent to which technological and social political change may accelerate or challenge these new patterns of citizen influence. This is the research framework. 379 Malaysian students aged between 18 and 24 studying at the University of Malaya who rely heavily on social media platforms as their primary source of political news and information were surveyed via a self-administered online survey questionnaire. The rationale for having such sample characteristics is because, according to extant scholarship, due to the different media consumption patterns, the mobilization power of social media may not affect all young adults in the same way. Consumption of non-political information on social media and general use of social media do not predict social capital, civic, and political participation, but social media news exposure does. Furthermore, the 18 to 29 years old, they are the ones who made up the heaviest users of various social media platforms. Sampled in the current study, they are first-time voters who are undergoing citizen engagement norms and habits forming process that would stay across their life course. The methodology of the current study was carried out in 3 phases. First of all, content validation exercises were performed to check on the relevance and clarity of all measurement items in the survey questionnaire. This was followed up by a pilot study with 194 valid respondents carrying the same characteristics. Data from the pilot study was used to perform construct validation. This was then followed by the actual study. 2 methodical analyses were applied, namely SPSS and SEM. SPSS was consulted to generate descriptive statistics. Meanwhile, SEM was consulted to investigate and estimate relationships between observed and latent variables, as well as test research hypotheses. These are the findings and analysis of the current study. Social media political information use predicts political efficacy, but not political knowledge. Social media political information use distracts political participation of all 3 modes, which are offline, online, and cyber participation, but the relationships turn positive when political efficacy comes in as a competitive mediator between social media political information use and political participation. Political knowledge neither predicts political participation nor serves as a mediator between social media political information use and political participation. Political efficacy predicts political participation. I'm going to discuss each of the single results from this slide onwards. Social media political information use predicted political efficacy. While the filter bubble thesis may be true to a certain extent, social media do facilitate exposure to dissonance. Extant scholarship suggested that exposure to cross-cutting perspectives contribute to higher quality of political attitudes and behavior in democratic processes. These include the sense of efficacy. Social media political information use did not predict political knowledge. For many individuals surveyed in this study, social media is their only source of political information. That said, these individuals will have no other origin or possess a minimal source of political information. It is even worse if they were exposed only to homogeneous political content when they are on social media, leaving them with lower level of political knowledge. Scholars also question on whether social media used for political purposes leads to political knowledge enhancement via exposure to diverse perspectives, or instead is more likely to foster echo chambers that inhibit chances of individuals being exposed to differing information. As argued by Johnson et al., either way would draft social media political information used as a predictor of political knowledge. Given that dissonance would lead to more confusion and frustration, while homogeneity would cause political ignorance. To make matters worse, one shall also pay attention to the algorithm mechanism of the various social media platforms that are playing substantial roles in filtering its users' exposure to information, which would further limit one's political knowledge. As such, attitudes towards political information play a significant role in our learning process. Likewise, exposure alone doesn't lead to reception. Prior political knowledge is indeed an important determinant of how much people will absorb available political information. It is a competitive mediation whereby social media political information use did not predict political participation, but instead ended up with a significant negative effect. However, when mediated by political efficacy, social media political information use predicted political participation. That said, merely obtaining political information on social media platforms may not be a sufficient factor to mobilize one to involve in political activities, but the feeling of efficacy may. Although findings of the current study suggest a significant positive relationship between social media political information dependency and the three modes of political participation via political efficacy, the participation level of each of the modes is relatively low. Among the three modes examined, online participation scored the highest need. This indicates that respondents in the present study are more inclined to engage in more passive forms of political activities, which required lesser costs. To borrow Howe et al.'s direct quote, the current study would describe the young wired cohort as consumers rather than producers of political activities. Even so, it is still worth to highlight that social media political information use has the most substantial effect on cyber participation via political efficacy, followed by online and offline participation. This somehow justifies that cyber participation has emerged as a distinctive mode of political participation among the net channels. This also addresses the concern of my research problem statement. Political knowledge did not predict political participation. Descriptive statistics of the current study found that respondents possess a moderate level of political knowledge, with level of factual knowledge higher than structural knowledge. That said, knowing only the tiny bit of political facts may not indicate one's ability to observe political realities. Insufficient political information or low confidence in information has become one of the obstacles to political participation. If this is not about the lacking of knowledge, skepticism would be another likely answer to this non-significant relationship. We need knowledge and skills to manage information. Owing to the wealth of political content available on social media platforms, primarily via incidental exposure, people may not get what they needed. On the contrary, too much information would result in confusion or skepticism. Political knowledge did not mediate the relationship between social media political information use and political participation. Again, as I've discussed earlier, the abundance of different messengers may cause frustration and to a certain point lead to inaction. Or to those with no intention to participate in the very first place, they may take it as entertainment consumption. Although political knowledge may be considered a significant quality of politically active and involved citizens, a majority might not possess sufficient political knowledge to meet the standards of a competent citizen. That said, relying on social media for political information may not necessarily suggest one as a competent citizen. Political efficacy predicted political participation. Extant scholarship generally suggested that political efficacy is playing a significant role in predicting political behavior because it serves as a psychological incentive for participation. As for the limitation of the current study, the first one is to deal with the sampling strategy. Future studies may want to enlarge the scope of the study by taking into account respondents with more diverse demographic background, as well as taking into context of the differing political landscape. Next is absence of sufficient scholarship. Limited literature and empirical findings on cyber political participation and structural political knowledge have become one of the delimitations of the current study. More work can be done in these less studied areas, in particular, the designing of appropriate research measures and items. Last but not least, the scope of the study. The study only focused on political informational use of social media as a whole, without delving into specific social media platforms. As different social media platforms may attract different users owing to their unique nature and functionalities, future studies may want to consider a few remarkable social media platforms based on different research contexts. Despite several limitations in peak definitive conclusions, the value of the current study is in the significant multivariate relationships tested, which has contributed insightful exploratory inputs to the body of knowledge of the role of social media in politics. This study has tried to improve the understanding of specific informational use of social media, and in my case, political use, and to estimate the extent to which such dependency predicts political participation in the forms of cognitive, affective, and behavioral political outcomes. The current study was also among the very few studies to go beyond an obsolete understanding of younger cohorts' political participation by identifying cyber political participation and its activities as a distinctive mode of digital participation, apart from the more recognized and commonly used online participation. So, will new media or digital media contribute to strengthening democracy by intensifying political participation? This is a question of endless glass, half full or half empty debate. Still, I would like to take a more positive interpretation. Although the levels of involvement for offline, online, and cyber modes are relatively low, findings of the current study somehow infer that social media used for political information possesses mobilizing potential. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Even at a minimal volume for now, this is indeed a positive sign, as more may have realized in the future if these younger cohorts are exposed to proper political socialization process. To relevant stakeholders, more have to be done by looking into this new mode of participation and to harness social media and Web2 functionalities to the fullest to mobilize the net channels. Equally important, more have to be done to gain more insights into the user characteristics within themselves and concerning the technological features and functionality of different types of new media, in breeding distinctive effects on political learning, political efficacy, and political participation. That's all for my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you Dr. Tan, for your presentation. I think this is quite good topic and very current regarding to what happened at the moment. Okay, anyway, before that, I would like to open to the floor if you have any questions regarding to this, please. Yeah. No, tak ada. Ahmad Naufal, are you a student or from UKM? You have two names inside here.
Yes, doctor. I use my PC and my phone. My phone, I use it for my mic and my camera.
You are from UKM, eh?
Yeah, from UKM.
You have any questions?
No.
Okay. Okay, I have one question, because this is what happened last week. Okay, regarding to your, I think your topic is related as well as media literacy, right? Okay, among the youth. Okay, is it what's your opinion regarding to the Undi 18? Okay, the current scenario. Okay, is once the Undi 18 has been implemented by next year, might be. Do you feel that the youth sentiment can reorganize, can reformatting the Malaysian political landscape? Okay, might be in what way they will go, opposition ka, government ka, in which part? So what is your opinion about it?
Wow, this is a very challenging question.
Okay, might be because you already have your background, fundamental background in terms of your research. You already know at least a little bit what's the current scenario in terms of the perception, in terms of the political metrics in the youth generation, the way they make a decision lah. Okay, so do you feel that if, let's say, this Undi 18 has been implemented next year, do you feel that the current scenario will be changed, the landscape, the political landscape will be changed? Okay.
Not really, because as I've presented, right, their level of political knowledge is not that high, especially in terms of structural knowledge, because in my study, I've divided political knowledge into two dimensions. The first one is the factual, means that the bits and pieces of political facts, for instance, who is our current prime minister? So, simple facts about our political landscape. But the more important one actually is the structural political knowledge. I mean, in terms of making decision, structural political knowledge is more important, but this area is also being less studied. So what is structural political knowledge? It refers to the ability of someone to connect the bits and pieces to see, a bigger concepts of political issues. But throughout my findings, right, their structural knowledge, I mean the level is much lower compared to the factual level. So, if you ask me if the youth, they can make a difference or not, it depends on, the level of their political knowledge. And for me, I don't see much difference can be made, because it still depends on whether they want to vote or not and their confidence in the government. Because for the previous general election, many young people, young adults, like I'll call it, including those first-time voters, they came out to vote. But to our disappointment, the governments keep changing. So this is also another factors which would, hinder people, from coming out to vote. I mean, this is my opinion, because the efficacy itself, okay, and when I mentioned about efficacy, right, in my study as well, I have two dimensions, internal and external. to our surprise, the external efficacy is higher than the internal efficacy. What does this mean? Means that they have more, confidence in the authority to make changes on our political landscape. But one point I want to highlight is that because this survey was conducted in 2018 December, means that 2018 itself is the year of our last general election. So after half year of the, almost 7 months of the general election, I conducted this study. So during that time, perhaps I would say that the young people, the young respondents, they put, a lot of confidence in the government. But when, after few years and after few rounds of changing government, so I really, have nothing much to say, especially when it comes to the disappointment. Yeah.
Thank you. I think this is quite new for me as well. Yeah, because what in terms of dependency, new media. Okay, if you look in terms of the younger generation, is that they are still depends on the social media or they depends on the power of mouth in terms of the way they make a decision? In which part they will got information?
This is not within my scope of study because my scope of study is that the criteria to be my respondents, first they need to be between 18 and 24 years during the survey period, and the next one they need to go for any social media platforms to source for their political information. So as for your question, I didn't ask But throughout my survey, majority of them, they only depend on social media platforms as their source of political information. Because in my survey questionnaire, I put in items such as traditional media, but many of them actually they didn't use it. So social media platforms is their only source of political information.
I think that's a good finding, but the problem is when they use the social media, they will expose the fake news and also the unpredicted decision as well. Okay, so that's the negative scenario that we'll face on. Okay, anything questions regarding to our presentation today? I think we have a lot now. How many people now? 14 people. Yes.
I would like to add to your question about the how the youngster gets their information. I can speak from personal experience because I just turned 21 this October. So between me and my peers, I feel like the source is the social media is more influential than the mouth to mouth. Because I feel like whenever there's something like big happen and something like politically it blew up on social media, me and my friend would like talk about it. So like I don't think like it has like the mouth to mouth impact. It's not really there, at least from my personal experience. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Naufal. Okay, what about others? Mr. Cheng Yimin, we have what else? Who else? Mayan, Yang Juan. Okay.
It's okay, Dr. Nasmi.
Okay. So because we have lots of time now, okay, we only have 2 presenters. Okay. Anyway, so thank you, Dr. Tan Ju Jun, for your good presentation today. I think your information, your findings are quite a lot and in-depth in terms of the way we discuss about the political communication. Okay, thank you. Terima kasih. So,
thank you.
After this, okay, I would like to present our next presenters, IBU Navi Erlita from which university, Ibu?
Yeah, from UKM. I'm studying UKM, but the Mercubuana University Jakarta.
Mercubuana University in Jakarta. Okay, without further ado, can you try the system maybe video?
Okay. I try, Doctor. Okay. Tampak tak, Dokter?
Okay, can. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Baik. Can I start its present?
can you go back to the?
Okay, baik.
Okay.
Good evening, Dr. Nazmi and all presenter. Today I want to present. The title is the Political Economy of Metro TV Station Media in Indonesia in the Post New Order Era. Novi Erlita, Muhammad Nur Sahizan bin Ali, and Wan Amiza bin Wan Mahmud. Next slide. Introduction. In television is the mass communication that has the greatest influence in the information of public opinion. Political economics sees that the media is separable from the interests of capital owners, state, or others group. Vincent Mosco, 1998. The media is a tool of domination and hegemony of society. The sociological perspective of the media places the media is a tool of domination that can be utilized by capital owners and political authorities. The openness of information supported by technological advance has made media managers competitive to deliver information to the public. Media management is not just about the journey of the mass media itself from the conventional era to today. Interactive media, how the media can carry out its that is Dennis McWiles. Next slide. The political economy of the Metro TV station can carry out it that is as in the perspective of media theory, such as what media production is produced in the context of the political economy of media, Vincent Mosco, 1998, and how form of the media's own responsibility to society in relation to the production they produce it to society. Is the news content a necessity with various interests, or are the facts and statements true and worthy to be eaten as a necessity for accurate, balanced, and proportional general information? If so, what is the future of the Indonesian television industry for the future? What about the people, many as television media consumers as Indonesian who have always faithfully watched various shows? And the next slide, it's the Partai Nasdem, Nasional Democratic. It's Surya Paloh is the owner of the Metro TV station, who is also the general chairman of the Nasdem Party in Indonesia. And this is Metro TV station building located on Jalan Kedoya West, Jakarta, Indonesia. Maybe Dr. Nazmi is its building in Jakarta. And the next slide is the most new order era from May 1998 to 2019 during the presidential election in Indonesia marked the beginning of the transition to democracy in Indonesia. The 2019 Indonesia presidential election is a democratic process to elect the president and vice president of the Republic of Indonesia for 2019 until 2024 period. Private TV stations are an important part of the development of the television industry in Indonesia. Prior to 1998, the Indonesian government during the New Order era monitored the content of television news broadcast for decades. With the current democratization of broadcasting, television in Indonesia can produce almost all type of program content. However, a problem arises who actually control the content of news broadcasting on television, especially on private TV station in Indonesia during the reform era, and how the political economic factor of media and private TV station are viewed from the perspective. And the objective is identifying commodification of content, audience communication, and labor communication method TV station in Indonesia in the post-New Order era. Identify the specialization of method TV station in Indonesia in the post-New Order era. And the last, analyze the structure of Metro TV station in Indonesia in the post-New Order era. Methodology. The paradigm used in this research is the interpretative paradigm. The research uses a qualitative type of study with a descriptive data analysis process, designated. The method used is qualitative content analysis on the TV program Metro TV hari ini. This study uses qualitative content analysis method on Metro TV news program that has been selected of the unit of analysis and in-depth interview. In-depth interview can consist of several types to obtain the required data. In-depth interview is informal. The reviewer uses one language approach commonly used by informant, namely Bahasa Indonesia. The research location was conducted in Jakarta, Indonesia. In this study, where two groups of informant, Metro TV station staff group 10 people, and the Indonesian Broadcasting Commission or KPI group of 3 people. Each informant was selected using purposive sampling technique according to characteristics that have been determined. The following are characteristic feature setting for the Metro TV station informant in this study. First, employee at Metro TV Indonesian station, male and female gender, work at least 2 years at Metro TV station, work on content production work unit. While the characteristic features for KPI, they are experienced in the field broadcasting and have worked on KPI for 4 years. Educational background between graduate to doctoral level at university and understand Indonesian broadcasting law. And result at findings. Metro TV station combined two media sources, namely its television media, namely Metro TV, and Media Indonesia, its print media. Its one ownership so that the process of commodification, spatialization, and structuring occur in the political economy approach to the media in Vincent Mosco theoretical concepts. Metro TV broadcasting rates are based on profile orientation. Commodification process. Metro TV works strive to achieve access to capital. Spatialization is the process of overcoming space and time constraint in production mechanism. In other words, it folds up space and time to the capital accumulation. This process is done in two ways, horizontally and vertically. Horizontal specialization emerged when the owner of the capital, Surya Paloh, combined various types of media under one owner control. Is the commodification in media group. Its commodification is the three type is the commodification of content. The result is Metro Today's, it's Metro TV hari ini program on Metro TV station contains various advertisement selling. And audience commodification is what it's sold, advertised is how many readers of viewers. Labor communication is a permanent employee at outsourced employee intern at Metro TV station or student as TV contributor. And the specialization in group media, Surya Paloh, it's the name, it's group media. That's vertical, it's the 4 type, it's the Metro TV type of business television. Kemudian next, Media Indonesia, print media. Lampung Post. Lampung Post is the province of one of in Sumatra. It's a print media, and Metro TV, metronews.com, it's online media. Horizontal is the Papandayan Hotel. Maybe it's Papandayan Hotel, it's Bandung. Type of business is hotel. Kemudian next, Indo Catering, food and beverage. It's PT Media Jaya bersama MDB, it's coal mine. Next is the unit of analysis in the metronews.com. It's president, it's election channel, it's quick cons. And next, that's unit of analysis metrotvnews.com in political. Maybe it's the politik, it's Jokowi bekerja tanpa beban politik di periode kedua. And next slide, it's unit analysis, maybe it's manuver ketua partai politik. Thank you. I think that's enough for presentation today, Dr. Dasmi. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Novi Erlita. This is regarding to the political economy issues.
Yes, doctor.
So, is there any question? We open to the floor. Is there one question regarding to this? Okay. Actually, I have one question here. Okay, this is your PhD research, right?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. I think the way the framework that I can see is that this is you are trying to testing the model or theory from Vincent Mosco, okay?
Okay.
So my question is that okay, since you are testing, you just this one testing this program lah, whatever ownership, blah blah blah. Okay, what's next? What's your contribution towards the knowledge corpus? Because in the level of PhD, the contribution towards the knowledge corpus is more important rather than we just research that. Doing research, that's it. Okay, so what is your opinion about it?
Yes, I think that it's my thesis in the result. It's the rules. How is the build? It's rules of models in Vincent Mosco theories. It's the in the three type. It's commodification, spatialization, and the structurization in Metro TV. We know it's the station Metro TV is the private television. In the owner is Surya Paloh. It's party leader of party. It's Partai Demokrat. I think that it's station Metro TV is the neutral in publication of in the news on TV or the print media. I think that's the answer is the in maybe is the what is the English keberpihakan. Is the neutralitas in the president election in Indonesia. I hope it's the contribute in how it's citizen journalism in knowledge information. It's a factual, actual, and not hoax. Maybe it's answer in the it's Dr. Nazmi. I think it's research.
Okay, so in terms of the representation, you are studying in the only Metro TV. Okay.
No, it's in this in this mention is a Metro TV, but it's my thesis is not it's revised in my SP.
Oh, you put another news channel.
Yes, it's the recommendation in Dr. Sahizan and Dr. Wan.
I think there's a good things you need to do to choose more than Metro TV in a way to make it your thesis more representable and representation. Okay, we need lots of media station put on your research so that you can make your finding and your output will be more representable.
Yes, okay? Yes, yeah. Yes, doctor. It's the more not only it's Metro TV station, but maybe it's Trans TV or RCTI. I think that it's the unit analyzed from programming content is the others television.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any questions? Tak ada,
It's okay, doctor.
Yes. Okay. So thank you to Novi and
you're welcome
for the good presentation today. So I think for this session, I think we will wrap up. Okay. So I leave it to Nurizatul. Aisyah, please. Silakan. Yeah.
Doctor, wait, I have a question.
Okay. Silakan. Okay.
So can I get both of the PowerPoints and the video that both of you just presented? Where can I get it?
Macam mana, Aisyah? Is there any question? Boleh? Any information? Tak dengar, Aisyah, tak dengar. Dengar ke? Maybe Aisyah, can you put the chat box lah, maybe? Because we won't be able to hear you.
I also cannot hear Aisyah.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Naufal, you are a postgrad student, right?
I'm doing my degree in media communication.
Oh, degree?
Yeah.
Oh, tahun berapa?
Sem 1, Doctor.
Okay, first year lah.
Yeah, first year.
Okay. Zatul, ada apa-apa? Boleh cakap?
Later, Naufal, I will give you through WhatsApp.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Aisyah, is there any ucapan or whatever before we ni?
Okay.
I will leave it to you lah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Shahrul Nazmi Sanusi. With that, we end our parallel session this evening. The next session will start on 5 p.m. That is the final part of our parallel session. Before we leave, let's take a group picture together, one by one. Okay. Jomlah, buka kamera semua.
Can you open, everyone? Can you open the camera? Take a picture. Okay.
Okay.
Boleh ambil gambar?
Okay.
Saya tak tahu ambil gambar. Okay.
Okay, one.
Okay, saya ambilkan. Teknikal ambilkan. Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, next page. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Nazmi
Okay, see you another
and all
session.
presenter.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aisa, it's the back in main room or live room?
Boleh doktor. Sebab dah habis ni kan.